all you wonderful parents and youth, come on in, grab a seat, find a spot. Lots over in section 3. I know it's a little bit harder to see over there, but you can hear just as well. We have microphones. It's an amazing technology. It does great things for my voice. Or not. That's up to you. That's personal preference, I guess. So come on in, grab a spot. We're going to get started as quickly as possible. As we've done in the past, I want to just pass around our offering baskets. No guilt, no trip. But if you have some money that you like to contribute towards FACT, that is our mission this entire year, feeding area children together. If you have something fantastic, if not, do not worry about it. Every $150 raised feeds in a kid for an entire year on those days where there's no school. Awesome ministry. While they're doing that, if you are a mission trip youth, a junior high mission trip youth, and you sold wreaths, wreath orders are here. They're in our garage right on the south side of our building. There's a door right out this way. I recommend bringing the car around. I'm not one for cold weather. Drive right around, and we have a 9th grade group that's organizing those orders right now. So by the time we're done here, they'll be ready for pickup on the south side of our building. There's a little driveway. Service Project Night is coming up on Wednesday the 28th. We have our youth that are going to be doing some of their own projects. They've talked about with their small group guides and organized and planned and thought about these projects. All those, if you're a guide out there and you're not sure what you're doing, make sure you let me know in case parents have questions about what their youth is doing. Various times, various places on the 28th. Advent. Advent worship is coming up, not to replace YDT, but as part of YDT. 6:30 on 3 Wednesdays in December leading up to Christmas. At 6:30 right here in the sanctuary, a meal will be served right before. Youth Shopping Night. If you're still wondering about a service project and what you can do, this is a great opportunity to get together and come out with us as we go and partner with the Salvation Army's Angel Tree and Living Waters in Sauk Rapids. Target gives us 10% off everything in the store to purchase gifts for kids that may not otherwise receive a Christmas gift. If that sounds like something you would like to be part of, we're going to meet here at 6 o'clock and go to the Crossroads Target at 6:30 on Sunday, December 9th. Makeup retreat for all you 8th graders. If you missed our fall retreat, or if you really just want to do more retreating, we're going to do a one-day retreat makeup here at Celebration on Sunday the 9th, the same day as Youth Shopping. We may even be doing that. We are doing that, I'm not going to lie. We're going to do Youth Shopping as part of the makeup retreat. 1 to 8 o'clock, come in here and be part of our retreat. Now, I have flown through announcements because I know we have so much to cover tonight. But I want to take time for this next part. This next part, maybe some of you have heard or seen about this lemonade challenge. I'm going to have you girls, why don't you come up front with me. These young ladies in late August held a lemonade stand, and they didn't know what it was going to be or how much they were going to raise, but they did a lemonade stand, and they were looking for a place and a way to donate what they raised, and they raised $36.50. And $36.50, that is awesome. I never did a lemonade stand when I was younger. I don't know why. I just never did have that experience. That's entrepreneurship, learning how to do this. And not only just to keep money that they raised, but how to give it away. So Pastor Jeff had taken a picture of their wonderful envelope that they sent over to the church to be given to FACT, our Feeding Area Children Together. And one of our members said, hey, I wonder if I match this and put this out as a challenge, how much we could possibly raise. I was thinking, and he was thinking, if we got to $500, how awesome would that be? $500 and a challenge of just matching $36.50. Well, you can see the total up here. Maybe you can't in the back. $2,602 has been raised for FACT through this. Now, I already know the answer, but did you ever think it was going to get this big?
No.
No. What were you thinking if you said, hey, $36.50, that's going to do some really good things for FACT? And then did you hear about the challenge? Did your moms tell you? Yeah, and what did you think when you heard about the challenge?
I was really surprised.
Really surprised that maybe someone else would take this up and say, what can we do to help area kids? And when you saw this amount tonight, did you ever think that was possible?
No.
It blew you. What did you feel when you said, we help raise this for kids that are hungry?
Excited.
Excited. And how old are you ladies?
9, 10, 11.
That wasn't even on purpose. But they told me earlier that this gives hope that anybody can do this regardless of age. Everybody can make an impact. And we have Sarah tonight from FACT. Come on down, Sarah. Give her a hand. Sarah is from FACT. Why don't you tell us a little bit?
Sure. Well, FACT started with my 9-year-old looking at me and telling me, what are you going to do about this hunger problem that we had experienced? And I know a lot of you know the story of FACT, and that's kind of how it started. And I'll tell you, we thought that as a bunch of parents from Madison that we would just be doing this Feeding Kids program with a bunch of adults, but most of the time, these are our leaders, and these are the people that are really feeding kids who care about other kids, and that's incredibly powerful. Thank you for inspiring us to keep feeding kids, and those kids that are being fed, that are getting those packs in their backpack. We hope that really the big win will be later down in the road when they see stuff like this and how to care for others. And that's going to spread and spread and spread. And it started here, really. And it started at a dinner table, and that's a powerful thing. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Sarah, will you stand there? Ladies, will you present her the check? I want to grab a picture. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. You have a seat. All right. Tonight, we're going to be diving in to some deep topics, and I hope that you are ready to hear and learn and have all these open minds about what we're going to be sharing with you about some of the dangers that are out in our world and some of the opportunities that we have to step up and be involved. So tonight, you know that I have Officer Robbie from the middle school, our school resource officer. He's here tonight. And we also have Deputy Mayers is here with us tonight as well. And we're really going to dive a little deep and go pretty quick. So,
is this on? There we
it
go.
is. Ooh.
Okay.
Did you want to introduce? You want to talk a little bit? Do you want to share? Or you just want to go right in?
Matt, do you need to take off earlier? Can you stick around for a while? Okay. Do you want to do K9 first? Or?
Yeah, let's do it first. Since it's here. Deputy Mayers is working tonight. He's not just in uniform just for fun. He's working tonight. He has one of our K9 units in Stearns County, and he's out there patrolling. But tonight he wanted to come and share with us a little bit about what he does and what it looks like. So he has his K9 out in the vehicle, and his name is Eddie. Eddie is his K9. He's going to bring him in just a little bit, and he's going to demonstrate, correct? Mm-hmm. Demonstrate a little bit of how Eddie works. So if you want to come up and just place, he's going to hide a little bit of marijuana.
You can get like 5 volunteers to bring a coat up.
Oh.
You can just lay them on the front.
Volunteers with a coat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring up your coats. Nope. You want to go?
Yep. When's your birthday? July 11th. Who's the closest birthday here?
Mine's
June. We'll pick you.
When's your birthday?
May? September's the closest. There you go.
All right. We're going to use your jacket as a place to hide.
Yep.
So
It's marijuana. What this is a little bit of marijuana in a glass jar, and I hate microphones. Hope this works. You can still hear me? Okay. What he's going to do, he's a passive detection dog. There's aggressive and there's passive. What he'll do is he'll sniff the jackets, and he should lay down next to the one that's got the drugs in the sleeve. So.
we won't leave the drugs there. It's okay. It's just temporary. I had to explain it that no negative consequences. This is just a demonstration of how Eddie will do work. So you can place your jackets.
If you spread them out a little farther. Here we go.
Make them think a little bit. Make them work hard.
The Sartell School District started bringing canines into school a couple years ago at the high school. This is the first year we brought them to the middle school. We've done it once so far, and we plan on doing it a couple more times this year. It is random searches. The dogs just check the locker banks. They do not go into the classrooms themselves. The first time we had no hits at the middle school. The high school, I don't think we had any hits either. It's not that we have a drug problem in school. It's just a way to keep the kids thinking. I mean, has there been marijuana in the school? Yes. Is it every day? No. So it's a way to just prevention. So we bring the dogs in once every so often.
And tonight, we're very lucky that he was able to come in. As I guys mentioned, he was on patrol tonight. He was able to take a little bit of his time to come. And what they do is that this is part of their program, as in demonstrating, as in community outreach, because they're not here to put the negative consequences. They just want to inform on the positivity that these drug dogs are up there doing good in our community, helping to deter anyone from using or bringing, especially bringing to school, but ever using illegal drugs. Mm-hmm. And this dog, I don't know are you familiar with what he's trained on?
He's trained on narcotics. He is not a bite dog. For canines, you have search dogs, you have bite dogs, or top line. You have apprehension dogs, and you have drug dogs. Some dogs are cross-trained, both apprehension and drugs. Eddie's just strictly drug dog. He's not a bite dog whatsoever. He's a German Shepherd, so he looks mean and tough, but he's a big baby, basically. He'll bring him in here. He'll do his thing with it. Stearns County has 2 drug dogs. They also have 2 bloodhounds, which we've used in the past, too, where people go missing. They can actually detect scent off of people for like 2 days later. They can still track where that person walked. In the area, Wade Park has a canine. St. Cloud has a couple. Benton County has a couple. Stearns County has a couple. We do not have any in Sartell at this time. We had some a couple years, or 10 years ago. That dog retired, and we did not replace that dog. The dogs are probably, with training, probably about $15,000 to $20,000. So they're not cheap. But they're very, very effective, and they make their money back over time with forfeitures, with confiscated cash from forfeitures and stuff like that. They do make the money back in that way.
Awesome. And I know when if you're not familiar with the drug-free coalition that's going on in the Sartell schools, I want to just lift that up now. I'll lift it up again at the end, that we meet on the second Tuesday of every month at 6 p.m. in the middle school hub. And we get together and we just talk about different things going on in the schools, different drugs, different opportunities to say, how can we say no? How can we bring this to enlighten our youth and our adults? And Eddie's here. I'm just going to let them go because I know that's where your attention is going to be.
So by far, you guys are the largest crowd Eddie's ever been in front of. Just a little background, he's a dog from over in Slovakia. The trainer brought him from over there 2 years ago for me. So he's been my partner for 2 years now. He's only 3 years old, and he has a lot of drive when he comes out of the car. So basically, when he comes out of the car, he knows he's going to go to work, and he has a lot of energy. So he can pull me around pretty easy too. Usually what we do, our training nights, we go into big buildings. Oh, everybody can't hear me?
No,
Can't
sorry.
talk loud enough? Hey, down. No. So basically we go into rooms and we train. This room is pretty big. It'd take me hours to train or to find anything in this room on my own. Where if So if I'd release him, he could search this entire room in a matter of 5 or 10 minutes. He obviously found his reward. I carry a little reward for him. He has a very high ball drive. So anytime we're gonna do, like tonight, you'll see it where we do a search on these coats. What he'll do is he'll find the drug in the coat, and what he'll end up doing is he'll just lay down. He'll sniff for a little bit, and then he'll just lay down when he finds it, and then he gets his toy. So that's a lot of what his work is. And if you guys want, if he comes by, you can tug on this thing. He won't give it up to save his life. But if you get it, he's coming for it. So he's accidentally bit me once or twice just because I had his toy and he was trying to get it. It wasn't his fault. It was more my fault than anything. But he plays a good game of tug of war. I'll give you this back.
One thing that was shared with Drug Coalition is that this is a big game for him. He likes to find it because that he knows he's going to get his reward. As soon as he does his job, he's going to get his toy. And that's what drives Eddie. And that's a great thing for him and his handler. Except when you have the ball.
Robbie where it is, just so I don't reward him. By your left foot. It's in this one. Uh-oh, who's got the white coat? Well, for whatever reason, he's not picking up any smell out of that coat. Oh, there you got it.
Awesome.
So we do this a lot on traffic stops. We help our drug task force out. And lately we've been doing just a lot of demonstrations so people know that we're out there answering questions or anything like that. So, good boy.
Well, thank you guys so much for your time tonight and for stopping in and helping out. Much appreciated. If you guys want to come grab your coats, and the rest of you can head back to your seats. Thank you. Appreciate it.
What I find is I picked that couple places there, so I'm moving around. So I
A little bit of drool.
Wait, why would the dog just like lay down?
I picked it up on that coat.
That could have been. So he's pretty
Yeah.
good at it. But
Yeah, no, you're right. He is.
I just didn't want to give him a reward.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
It was exciting. I didn't know we were going to have him come in until late last week, so I did not have a chance to put him in a slide or anything in there, but very much want to appreciate all that our dogs do and our trainers. And one question was asked, and he's not going to later answer it. So what happens to a dog when they retire?
Hey, Matt. What?
Generally with the sheriff's department, the last couple dogs we've retired, they've been able to buy them. The sheriff's department just can't give them to me. But what they would do is when he's ready to retire, since he's worked with me, he'll probably have a career anywhere from 8 to 10 years where I'll work with him. Once he's done, when they retire him, I can buy him for $1. They just can't give them to me, but I'll generally be able to buy them for $1, and then I'll be able to keep them like I'm doing now. So every night he comes home with me. Every day I go for a run with him. Otherwise, he'd drive me nuts. So, but yeah, hopefully when he's ready to retire, I'll just be able to make a kind of a $1 donation to our canine fund, and then I'll be able to keep them. So,
Thank you very much.
thanks.
Thanks, Matt.
That was one of the lighter topics of the night.
The parents of the person in the white jacket, don't worry about it. What happened was I was holding that jar in my hand, and I started moving the jackets around, so I'm guessing he smelled off my jar and hit that on the clothing.
Yep.
So whoever
Little bit of
owns that white
transfer.
jacket, don't yell at their kids tonight. So,
Tonight, one of the things that Officer Robbie has noticed in the middle school and, of course, at the high school is vaping. If you're not sure or familiar with what vaping is, lucky for you, we're going to cover a lot of that tonight. We also want to cover a little bit of drugs, alcohol, and tobacco, and, of course, non-tobacco products. That means smoking with actual lighter and flame. This is the e-cig. So, do you want to take it away for a little bit?
sure.
Okay.
Vaping started several years ago. It's been hit around here the last 5 to 10 years. This is a Juul, which I have one on display over there. The one on my display case is actually recovered at the high school. Officer Adam did have it in some child or student's possession. He found it. Basically, it is small, compacted. They've went from big, giant e-cigs to something that's small, fits in the palm of your hand. And it kind of looks like a jump drive, and they actually are charged. I'll grab mine. Basically, this hooks into your computer, and it charges the battery, which operates the heater inside, or the heating coil. So, and there's a slide that comes up that shows you the parts of a vape. Here are the parts. So basically, you have, this one's a different style than what I have in my hand, but you have a USB charge on the bottom. You have an LED display. You have a button that actually push that heats up that heating element. The heating element then it heats up the fluid or the liquid. Then you inhale the vapor through the mouthpiece.
Officer Robbie, one of the things that is out there a lot, and maybe you've seen these on TV, the Muppet commercials where they talk about vaping. They just started coming out this last month or so, month and a half. Informational and educational. So here is the first one.
Vaping is like safer than. Vaping is safer than.
A lot of people stress that it's safer because you're not lighting a cigarette, you're not smoking off of that. It's not. Safer does not equal safe at all in any shape, words, the form. Very dangerous. Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about what that means to your body in just a little bit. But I want to share that with you, just these little quick informational things. That's what our coalition is hoping to do at some point, is to get out the positive and get out the information that, hey, this isn't what we want our kids doing. This is not for them. This is not what we hope for their bodies.
Even at the middle school level, I've heard some students say that their parents don't mind them vaping because it is safer. So kids are hearing that from their parents, and they take that in. It is, I'm not going to say it's safer than smoking, but there's nicotine in there, but that's what the kids believe. It is safer than smoking itself. You can see that I have one in my office in the school. It's the bigger one on the left-hand side there. That's what some of the vapes look like. We do see some of those still in the street and school, but a lot of them now are going to the smaller, compact version of the vape. It's called a Juul. How they work, basically what it is a heating element inside that device, and it heats up the liquid, and the liquid then turns into a vapor. You suck in the vapor, hold it in your lungs, then exhale it. You'll see the background, the smoke coming out, the vapor coming out. You see it in cars every so often where all of a sudden the car will just fill full of smoke, and that's a vape. Cigarette smoke doesn't come out this heavy like a vape does, and that's basically is being exhaled through the lungs. Here's some, the liquid is the e-juice, I call it. It's the most important thing or dangerous thing is the nicotine that's actually in the liquid, and when they sell the liquids, they sell it with flavoring. This one here is straw nanner, so it's supposed to be strawberry and bananas in it. This was actually recovered at the middle school. It's packaged with flavoring, so it's supposed to taste better, but it says right on the side, this product contains nicotine. A lot of kids, they see the packaging, they think it looks bright packaging with beautiful colors and bright colors, let's say, and it's supposed to have taste great, but it's the nicotine in here that's dangerous. The other ingredients here, kind of ingredients that enhance the flavor, or actually not really, I should say enhance it, but it helps with the flavoring. It kind of more liquid in here, like water and stuff like that, but the dangerous one is the nicotine.
This week, quick trip this week, and I snapped a picture of their e-cig display behind the counter. And these are all different brands, all different sizes. At the bottom is the chewing tobacco, but right up in the first 1, 2, 3, 4 shelves there is all e-cigs. Different kinds, different brands. My wife works at Quick Trip, that's why I got the picture. But she said that mango is the popular flavor that sells out almost instantly every time they stock it. So what does that tell me? Targeting youth, targeting kids to get these flavors that either they're familiar with or aren't necessarily as harsh tasting. That's what that tells me. And then I just saw this today. It was on Snapchat, so take that with a grain of salt. But it was posted by the Washington Post, so I have a little more faith in it. Juul's scales back. And I just found this today, so I didn't even tell Officer Robbie. We certainly don't want youth using our product, right from Juul. The e-cigarette company, hugely popular among young people, said it will stop selling flavored pods, mango, cream, fruit, and cucumber in stores. Juul's website will sell them. Traditional flavors, tobacco, mint, and menthol will remain in stores. Juul will also close its U.S. social media accounts. The government is cracking down on the industry to reduce underage vaping. So it's not all doom and gloom. It's not all negative that the government is doing something, because they even see it as a problem among youth. But I want you to know that there is still a danger out there. And I grabbed another video quick. This one talks about the nicotine. So even those that parents are saying, well, maybe it's not so bad because it's not actually smoking, well, there's still nicotine.
I've been vaping, but it's safer than smoking.
You know, one Juul pod contains as much nicotine as 20 cigarettes. 26.
Huh.
20 cigarettes is one pack of cigarette. One pack of cigarette has 20 cigarettes in it. So one Juul pod, which goes into the Juul, is like smoking a pack of cigarettes itself. I looked up on the internet. One pod will last you about 200 puffs, and that it doesn't really give you a time frame, because really some kids smoke on it, puff on it more than other kids. But it's about 200 puffs per Juul packet or per packet there.
At the coalition meeting last night, we talked about that, and what they're seeing, when the few kids actually will talk about juuling to the administrative, how many hits they're doing in a day. And it's a whole pod, if not more than a pod. And they think it's just so much easier, doesn't have that flavor, doesn't have that harsh feel, but it's doing just as much damage to their lungs when they're breathing that in. And the nicotine is still there, which is getting them addicted to it. Here's some of that danger.
You can talk about this one.
I threw up a picture of healthy lungs on the left. Of course, we want that nice bright pink coloring. On the right is what they're seeing. And juuling, like we've been talking about, has not been out for very long. It's relatively new. But when the few cases that they're actually seeing is that their lungs are having this popcorn effect. If you remember a few years ago in the 1990s at a chip making company, the dust created by their product would have the same effect. Breathing that into their lungs would make it look like this popcorn effect in their lungs, causing little air pockets to be captured inside. They're seeing the same thing with these products, with the juuling, with the e-cigs, with those pods, the same effect in your body. Now, when they say it's safer, it may not cause cancer yet, because we just don't know yet. But I have a hard time believing that anytime you put anything that does not belong in your lungs into your lungs, it is not going to end up well.
Here's some of the dangers. It may cause cancer. Like Aaron was saying, it's relatively new, so the long-term effects are not known yet. There's also a chance it causes lung disease. It contains nicotine, so you have a chance of nicotine poisoning. These devices have batteries in them and a little heating element, so they have exploded in the past. Anything's a chance of it because there's that products are in there for the heating element, so they have exploded in the past. Like I said, it's relatively new, so the long-term effects are not known yet, and that's what's so dangerous about it right now. Here's some stats among youth. The blue line's the high school. So from 2011 to 2017, it went up pretty dramatically. Even middle school kids, that's more the reddish line at the bottom. So that's from basically 1%, now we're up to 3.5%, almost 4% of the kids in the middle school that's tried e-cigarettes.
Yeah, more than 2 million youth. And they do that study, and it's coming out again this year, where I think it's every 3 years, they put out the study on drinking, with smoking, with these kinds of products. And I believe this year they're adding juuling to it. But we're going to get some data, some hard data. It's an anonymous test that they pass out, and they do. And it takes about a year to get those results back. But they are in depth. It's 110-page results that I'm looking forward to having a chance to just comb over and look to see at those real numbers for our youth in Sartell, at the middle school and at the high school.
Legal consequences. We all know that possessing tobacco under the age of 18 is against the law, okay? They have new statutes that states any electronic smoking devices under the age of 18 is against the law also. It is a chargeable offense. You will be given a summons or a citation, and you have a chance, may have to appear in court for it. School consequences. At school, I do not give out consequences. That's not my role at the middle school. But they do have policies against tobacco and cigarettes and e-cigarettes in the school. Some of the consequences could be loss of privileges, suspension, detention, a lot of wide variety of policies. So the consequences say, like I said, I don't give those at the middle school. It's my job. My job is if they are there, it's against the law to possess them, even if they're under 18. So that student may get issued a citation for possession of the Juul or the e-cigarette at school grounds.
And I know you were talking about Officer Adam would confiscate devices. Is that something similar at the middle school?
Yep. We confiscate the devices because they're banned in schools. We let the parents know, and if the parents want to take credit and say, yeah, that's mine, and I gave it to their child, we'll give it back to the parents. But then the parents also now are given a product that's against the law to have. So most parents don't say, yeah, that's mine. But yeah, we confiscate them. That's where most of the stuff here in the table's from. It's from traffic stops, from schools. I'd say majority there is from traffic stops. But we do confiscate them at the school. This is kind of a conclusion of the vaping itself. It's relatively new. The long-term effects are not known yet. It is against the law to possess them under the age of 18 years of age, and the use of vapes is rising. The SRO from Cold Spring Corey area got a hold of me today, and they're seeing an increase in vapes in their schools too. So it's just not a Sartell problem. It's the nationwide problem. No matter where you go, they're there. They're targeted youth, they're in all the gas stations, and kids are trying them.
Yeah. Even though maybe they're going to start scaling back on how they advertise to youth, it's still out there. At the coalition last night, they were saying, how are a lot of these youth getting them? Because you can't buy them unless you're at least 18 years of age. And the answer is from older friends. From older friends, older siblings, in the high school more so, here's my $20. Can you do that? And that's just against the law as anything else, providing it for the minor. But it's not the only thing we want to talk about tonight. I don't have a lot to say about prescription drugs except parents. Know what you have. Know what you have in the cupboard. And if they're expired, dispose of them properly. Don't just flush them because that just gets into the water system and does some bad things for the rest of the community. Take them to those drop-offs. Make sure that you're discarding those medications once they're expired, knowing what you have and how much you have of it. Xanax seems to be the problem going on at the high school. I talked to Officer Adam last night, that kids are getting it and passing it out to friends or selling it. Middle school, it has not been a problem. There's none. I want to say that. I know that Officer Robbie's looking at me. That's not the problem with the middle school, but it's something they're starting to see at the high school. So I just want to let you know as parents and as youth, tell your friends what's not cool. You have a high regard. I was listening to a parent last night saying that her daughter will do anything that her friends are doing, and they're on this path. you can step up to be a voice to say no. And having power in no. If you need a fall person, my youth director said, I can't. I made a promise. You can use me. That is fine. Let them, with that youth director, Aaron, whatever, I don't care. Parents, if you're comfortable being that fall person, my mom has really told me no. My dad has said, absolutely not. I cannot do that. Use us. We love you enough for your friends not to like us. We love you enough for your friends not to like us. That's okay. We want to keep you safe.
Regarding the drugs you don't, and I say drugs, but prescription medications you don't use anymore, the police department does have a drop box in our lobby area. It's free of charge. It looks like a glorified mailbox. You open the door, drop the medication inside, close the door, it drops down to the bottom of the container. And once a week, or whenever it's full, we take them prescriptions, bring them to our back room, our evidence room, where they stay until Stearns County comes around once a week or once every 2 weeks. They gather all the prescription medications from all the departments around the area, and they dispose of them properly. It's very popular. The container fills up quite fast, which is a good thing. We want those items in our possession so we can destroy it, to take care of them properly versus flushing them, versus leave them in your cupboards for the next 3 to 4 years so your kids can find them. Medications whatsoever can be dropped off there. Another thing that's kind of dangerous is the narcotics, the opiates and the painkillers. Kids are learning they can take them. I say kids, but people in general can take them even though they're not prescribed, and that can be very dangerous because they're prescribed at a certain prescription or a certain milligram, dosage. And if you take them too much, or thank you.
What Officer Robbie is saying is that what is good for me in my proper dosage could drastically hurt you or your friends or someone else. Dosages are, doctors and pharmacists have gone to school for many years to figure out what a person my size, my height, my weight, whatever, can manage. That is very different than what someone your age and when your size can manage. So dispose them very properly and in a safe place.
Yep, we do it at our office all the time, or people do it at our office all the time. Marijuana, like it or not, it's illegal in Minnesota. 5-10 years from now, will it be changed? I don't know. Colorado and some states made it legal. Since they have made it legal, some of the increase in traffic accidents have gone up when people are under the influence of marijuana. In Minnesota, it is against the law to possess marijuana. Yes, you can get a prescription for it, but it does not come prescription in the green leafy form. If you try telling one of the officers, I have prescription for marijuana as you're smoking it, that's not going to fly. It's usually a liquid or a pill form, but it does not come in the green leafy material like you see up here. Marijuana is around the area. It's been around the area probably way before I was born. Like I said, it's over the years, the stigma of marijuana has gone down since some states have made it legal. A lot of our marijuana is coming from Colorado and other states like that who have legalized it. Prior to that, a lot of our marijuana is coming from Mexico. A lot of our drugs do come up from Mexico, especially the harder drugs, but marijuana is now coming from the other states. We do see in traffic stops. Marijuana has a very distinct smell to it. So like for narcotics, we have to bring a drug dog in and do a search of a vehicle. If an officer walks up to a car and they can smell the odor of marijuana coming from the car and they can say, yes, based on my training experience, I know what that smells like, we can search that vehicle at that point. We don't need to bring a drug dog at that point to search the vehicle. We've had it in the schools, and that's why we bring the drug dogs in every so often now. I wouldn't say it's in school every day, but it has been in the schools in the last year or two. Marijuana itself hasn't changed, but maybe it's gotten more potent over the years. Another thing with marijuana we've seen an increase in is kids are making like a butter or a wax form. So what they're doing is they're using marijuana leaves. They're putting, basically it's like propane, liquid propane through the leaves. It drains or takes off the THC off the leaf. They put it down into a pan. Now you have liquid with THC on it. They burn off the liquid, so now they have a butter or waxy material that's high in THC, and they smoke that. Or the problem is, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out if you have a gas, like propane, and you add heat to it, you can start a fire. A few years ago, there was 2 young individuals who was doing it in St. Cloud, and they end up burning the house down, and their grandmother never made it out of the house. So it does happen. It can have some very deadly consequences, and we do see it in the area also.
And marijuana, for anyone, is not good. But for youth, your ages, the brain development where you are at, you will lose IQ points, which I need more of them. But anyway, your IQ will go down. Your memory, your ability to form memories and to retain memories goes down. Starting at any point is not good. Starting at any point is not good, but especially youth. It stunts your ability to form those synapses between your brain cells.
This is just some stats from our police department itself. Marijuana and meth, I would say, is the two most popular drugs. If you count alcohol as a drug, especially among teens, I would say that's up there, higher than meth, of course. But we do have marijuana and meth in the area. I'm saying the area, I mean Sartell, St. Cloud, Way Park, the whole metro area, I want to call it. There's also heroin in the area. We don't see it all that much in Sartell itself, but there is some in the area. 2017, we had 100 drug paraphernalia sites and 66 marijuana sites. We had 29 drug arrests for meth and heroin. And you can get a DWI for driving under the influence of a controlled substance. So we had 5 drug-related DWIs last year of the 38 total.
And it's out there, advertising. If you remember the Super Bowl commercial with Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg, and if you don't, I'll play it for you.
Isn't T-Mobile fantastic, Snoop? Unlimited data, taxes and fees included. It's everything.
Might even say it's all that in a bag of...
Purple cushy throw pillows?
No, I was thinking...
Herb roasted lamb chops?
Nah, a bag of...
Greenery. For your topiary garden?
Nah.
Pot? Cannabis?
Maybe.
Smartphone sweaters? It keeps your unlimited data cozy.
I like that.
It's all that and more. T-Mobile One.
T-Mobile took a stance to say, use drug references. If you didn't catch all of them, that's okay. It's not a bad thing. But all those things that Martha Stewart was saying that it compares to, very close to drug references. And they're advertising that for our youth. If you walk through the mall and you walk to I'm thinking of at least 2 stores. If you're walking through, drug paraphernalia is on the t-shirts, just images, names, slurs and slogans are out there, and they're targeting you. And they're looking to say, how can we get you started? I'm not saying all this to scare you tonight. I'm offering all these things to help make you aware of what's out there in our own community, in our own malls. Alcohol.
Alcohol itself hasn't changed over years. Majority of the parents well aware of the dangers of alcohol. I don't see a whole lot of alcohol itself in the schools, in the middle school, I should say at least. There has been some incidents this fall at football games where kids from other schools or Sartell school districts have come with containers full of alcohol. A lot of times they hit mom and dad's liquor cabinet before they go to the game, and they use kind of orange juice or pineapple juice, and ones I've seen or heard about so far, they put vodka in with them. So they're doing heavier, vodka's more, I should say, more potent or a lot more alcohol than a beer. So they're mixing vodka with fruit juice, and they bring it to football games and stuff like that. It's not, I'd say it happens every game again, but it has happened here at some of the Sartell football games where either our students or other students brought it in.
Some of the dangers of alcohol, and a lot of you already know these or have heard of them, but not having too much alcohol. It's alcohol poisoning. It gets in your bloodstream and takes over, and you'll end up vomiting, falling asleep, passing out, some kind of combination of those two, and that's where the real danger comes in. If you're passing out and vomiting, you could choke on that and very easily lead to death. One of the new ones that I saw on YouTube, and YouTube is it's a great thing, but man, is it horrible. One of the challenges out there was smoking alcohol. I didn't even know that was a thing. But apparently someone found a way to heat the alcohol to put enough pressure into the alcohol so it vaporizes, and then they're inhaling that. By inhaling the alcohol like a vapor, it now bypasses all the other systems. So the vomiting and the passing out, so you're no longer drinking, go out the window because it goes directly into your bloodstream. it gets so much faster and so much more potent, and that leads to so much more death. Kids are finding different ways of doing stupid things. The cinnamon challenge, man, it was not so much harmful, but not that great for your system. Anybody ever tried the cinnamon challenge? I did. I'm stupid. I am. I tried it because I want to know what would happen. And that big cloud of cinnamon comes flying out of your mouth because your body doesn't know how to handle it. Same thing with drugs and alcohol. Your body does not necessarily know how to handle those things. And how do you get it out of your system?
There's also alcohol, which is a powder alcohol. Basically, they sell it in a little package. It is basically powdered alcohol. You mix it with water, with another kind of juice, mix it up. Now you have an alcoholic drink in it. That was designed or actually manufactured by a guy who climbed mountains, and he'd like to have a drink at the top of the mountain. So he'd bring his little alcohol container of powdered alcohol on top of the mountain. He'd mix his little drink up and have a drink. So it is out there. You see it in the stores. You have to be 21 to possess that also because it does contain alcohol in it.
And exactly what you're seeing up here is that, again, they're targeting youth, targeting you with flavors and images that are appealing, like pumpkin pie. I love pumpkin pie. And that has alcohol in it. Oranges. Loopy tastes like Fruit Loops, apparently. I mean, who are they targeting? You. Targeting all of us. Raspberry and cupcake. Man, I make a mean cupcake. But that's ridiculous. And also cherry. Like I mentioned before, we are part of this drug-free coalition. I invite you to come as parents, as youth. This is open to business members, parents, anyone that's in our community. Come to these meetings to hear more about what's going on and how we can be together and how we can form statements of no and how we can be positive changes in our community. Second Tuesday of the month at the middle school, SMS Hub.
I don't want to scare you. 99.9% of our kids in Sartell or in the area are very good kids, okay? I have no problems with them at school whatsoever. Even the ones that have brought vapes or stuff to school, they're still good kids, made bad decisions. So like I said, the majority of the kids in Sartell are very good kids. Kids who are students who are in the audience tonight, if you know anybody who's bringing vapes to school, let Mr. Dingman, Mr. Stump, and I know about it, okay? Or at the high school, let Mrs. Steve, Officer Adam, or one of the administration know about it. We're not going to throw you a name under the bus saying, you know, little Jimmy told you you have a vape, okay? But we want to know about it. If you do see or hear kids bring them to school, let us know. We want to end it. We want to make it a point that we're not allowing this stuff in the school. And that's with vapes, that's with cigarettes or anything. Just come and talk to me about it. You guys, all you guys know, kids know where my office is at. In the school, every day the school day is there. Just come and talk to me. My door is always open.
And it's much more beyond consequences. It's about protecting you. It's about protecting your friends that may be doing these things. It's not to say, hey, this is horrible and we want to throw you in jail, because that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep you safe and try to keep your friends safe, and that is our goal. If you know what's going on, come share it with us. Maybe it'll help us, inform us on what we need to be talking about and presenting about and learning about.
Vaping, I'm not very educated in vaping, okay? And when I was a kid, I grew up in Sartell, graduate from Sartell. Vaping was not around, so I don't know. I'm not the world expert in vaping. To tell you the truth, I had some students come in and tell me about vaping. They knew a heck of a lot more. Even 7th and 8th graders knew a lot more about vaping than I would ever know. I had them, when Aaron and I made the presentation, I had some of them come in and take a look at my presentation. They pointed stuff out that I had wrong. So they know about it. Talk to them. They see it, they hear about it in school. Just talk to your kids. They're good kids. They'll tell you, they'll be truthful with you, but you need to open that conversation up with them.
Yep. And youth, no one's going to love you more than the people that are sitting next to you tonight. They want to know about you because they care about you and they love you. And that's the same with your pastors. We're here tonight. I'm here tonight because we care so deeply about you that we want to make sure you're making good choices. Now, we have a few minutes left. And so I was going to throw around the catch box if anybody has any questions for either Officer Robbie or myself. Anybody out there? Was that a hand or a coat? Coat.
I do have some displays up here. Please feel free to look at them. Like I said, they're all confiscated from traffic stops or from the school. So.
I know it wasn't about like tobacco, but what age do you have to be to possess it?
18. 18 for tobacco, 21 for alcohol.
drugs get sold every year?
That I no clue about. In the area, it happens. We in Central Minnesota, we have the Central Minnesota Violent Offender Task Force. Their role is basically drug interdiction, drug stuff like that, and they're very busy. So it does happen quite a bit.
So I've seen where they have like the marijuana lotion. What's the difference, and why can people sell that but not?
THC. That's what the gets you high, and it doesn't have the THC in it.
We didn't talk much about it, but there are some makers of those pods for the e-cigs that are also using THC and cannabis in those too. So you think maybe someone's just smoking e-cig, they could really be getting high.
Dang it, I forgot my question. Is this why we do DARE in school?
I am one of the DARE instructors in school. DARE has changed over years. When you first DARE started up many, many years ago, it was drug abuse resistance education. Now we use it. We talk about bullying. We talk about communication styles. We talk a little bit about drugs and alcohol, but mainly it's the main topics are what your kids deal with on a daily basis. A lot of it's bullying, harassment, that kind of stuff. So yeah, we do talk about drugs in DARE, but it's not the whole subject.
Is it mainly in the high schools or middle schools that you find the drugs?
It's probably more common in the high school, but we do find them occasionally in middle school.
Question now. Okay. How many drugs do you find each year? Wait, yeah, huh? Wait, how many drugs have you found this year? Yeah, okay.
I think the middle school we had 2 vapes this year. High school, I have no idea how many. Officer Adam takes care of that, so I don't know. I couldn't tell you what for sure.
Oh yeah. What grade is it mostly in the middle school?
I would say upper grades, so 7th and 8th.
Can the drug dogs like smell vape juice or anything like that?
To be honest with you, no, they cannot. The ones that Stearns County have cannot. They do have dogs that specialize in tobacco. The reason why the Stearns County drug dogs do not sniff out tobacco or vapes is because they're used on traffic stops, okay? Now, if a dog hits on a car, it's basically telling the handler there's an illegal drug in that car, either cocaine, meth, marijuana, heroin, or one of the illegal drugs, okay? Well, if they train the dog to smoke, to walk that car and hit on cigarettes or tobacco, the dog will walk up and hit on it. The handler doesn't know what drug the dog is hitting on, okay? So if you're over 18 years of age, you can possess tobacco. So it doesn't pay to train a dog, a drug dog that the county uses or law enforcement uses to hit on vapes, because if you're over 18, you can possess them. So the dog will be ineffective then at that point, because you can legally possess tobacco 18, so the dog hits on the car, we really can't search that point.
The other thing I might throw counter is if they were using one of the marijuana pods.
But yes, they do have dogs that are trained in vapes and in like tobacco and stuff that will come to schools too.
Like how many people could possess tobacco? Like in total, like how much do you think people possess a year? Like
that I don't know either. Tobacco's or if you're 18, it's legal to have. So.
What's the thing over there that looks like a phone? Or like...
Looks like a phone?
Yeah.
Oh.
You're talking past the phone.
Yeah. They're referring to these 2 items. Basically, it's a cover. What it is a scale. If you would want to buy illegal drugs, you want to make sure your drug dealer's not ripping you off, so you bring your own scale and you can weigh your own drugs. So we find these in traffic stops also. We confiscate them if they have drugs with them, used for display. So that's